questionable coaching decisions, bad execution in the red zone, and an illegal pull down all lead to the Patriots snatching defeat from the hands of victory on Sunday. Stick around. You're about to be locked in to the Locked On Patriots podcast.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello to all of you Foxborough faithful, and thank you once again for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage. I'm your host, Mike Debate. I cover your New England Patriots for the Patriots country. Reach out to me. Let me know what's on your mind on X at MDABATENFL. While you're out there showing some love to Locked On Patriots social media style, follow our account on X as well at LO_Patriots. And you can still find me over where the skies are so blue at MDABATENFL.bsky.social. And of course, folks, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Pats Nation, in the closing moments of Sunday's Week 13 matchup at Gillette Stadium between the Indianapolis Colts and your New England Patriots, it actually looked like the Pats might be able to pull out a much-needed victory heading into their bye week. Unfortunately, the football gods had other plans. Indianapolis quarterback Anthony Richardson throwing a 3-yard touchdown pass to Alec Pierce, and then they ran in a 2-point conversion just for added measure. All of that added up leads to a 25-24 victory for the Colts over the Patriots. The loss drops the Patriots to 3-10 on the season, and they are now mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. And it also happens to be the Patriots' fourth loss in 5 games. A lot to break down in this one, folks, from questionable coaching decisions to poor execution in the red zone. And, of course, it wouldn't be a melancholy Monday here on Locked On Patriots if we didn't have something to complain about when it came to the stripes, the zebras. That's right, the officials. We're going to talk about all of that here today because our guest today is monster mad that his monster keys were not turned with efficiency. And Murph, this is becoming a problem for the New England Patriots. Without further ado, I want to welcome him in. He is the legend, the Don here on Locked On Patriots, my good friend, the kind of Murphy Fisto himself, Thomas Murphy. Thank you for coming to me in friendship today on this melancholy Monday. Don Murph.
I work hard, man. Scouting these players, scouting these teams, cutting these keys. And to be ignored in the way that I have been, like in certain missed calls in this game, it's egregious. Egregious.
It's pronounced egregious.
It's pronounced egregious. One job. I gave these boys one job to do. All right, and that's all they had to do. All right, was stop the run, and they could not do it. Okay, this defense could not do it. They could not get off the field. Well, if you want to talk about stats, that the Patriots held the Colts to 5 of 11 on third down. You know when that doesn't matter? Do you know, folks? When they go 3 for 3 on fourth down. All right, it was terrible. I was really upset with the lack of run-stopping ability, especially with Peppers back, especially with Barmore getting back and finally in game shape. I think, Weeks is game shape. All right, I can overlook this week 1. Maybe they rushed him back, but not now. And Devin Gottschall was god-awful.
You're right. There is no way to sugarcoat this. They're not getting the same type of execution. They're lacking discipline on defense. They're lacking the fundamentals that it takes to actually complete these plays. And unfortunately, a lot of that has to be laid on the doorstep of the coaching staff. It just doesn't seem to be preparing this unit, just starting to get a lot of the same players they had last year back in the lineup, folks, that they're just not executing, save for one player who continues, in my opinion, to make a strong case for some serious postseason honors. We're going to get to Christian Gonzalez in just a second, folks, because Christian, once again, leaping off the page. He had a phenomenal game, and I think this kid really deserves a lot of the kudos he probably will get in the closing moments of this podcast. But you look at how this all played out, and the New England Patriots, unfortunately, broke down worst time that they possibly could and show all of their weaknesses in one sustained drive. Colts marching 80 yards, 19 plays, grinding the Patriots defense down to a nub until Alec Pierce was able to catch a touchdown on a 4th and 3 in the back of the end zone. Kyle Duggar was in on him. Unfortunately, the coverage just wasn't there.
Right.
I'm not going to lay this on Kyle's,
No.
doorstep, or I'm not going to lay this on any one individual player. This was just a breakdown of the Patriots defense, and I think a microcosm for the entire season, Murph. When you look at how the Patriots have played, they've been right there, even giving you the impression that they have the ability to hang with any team and that puncher's chance to win any game. And then you see these final drives where they're letting up and they're really showing you their deficiencies. When you look at this team in the grand scheme of things, shouldn't be a big surprise that this is how it all shook out on Sunday.
No, they're still learning how to win. They haven't learned yet not how to lose. We'll get to the offense, I'm sure, in a minute or two, and Alex Van Pelt, and but no, it all starts on defense, and the killer is that this was a top 10 defense last year, top 10.
Very good point.
All right, and now it is at the very bottom of the league in every single category. You find the category, you'll see the Patriots there, down at the bottom.
Yeah, and that is a remarkable turn. That is a 180 type of turn from the type of execution, again, the type of discipline that we were seeing from this defense last year. It's simply not there. And you can say all you want to that, this team's getting used to a new regime and they're getting used to a new style and whatnot. DeMarcus Covington has been in this room, folks. Gerard Mayo has been in this room for a good long time. Brian Belichick is still there. Mike Pellegrino is still there. They have a couple of new coaches here and there that I will give the benefit of the doubt to, that may be rookies, such as someone like a Dante Hightower, who hasn't coached at this level before.
Right now, it's on-the-job training for this entire coaching staff, as head coach, as sitting at the head of the table when it comes to coordinators. Okay, Alex Van Pelt had never called plays before. DeMarcus Covington is not a coordinator. I want him gone. I do. I want him gone. And I hate to say it, I think the linebacker play up to this point has been god awful, and that's got to go right on Dante Hightower.
And I saw you tweet this last night in the aftermath of the game. Yeah, you're absolutely under the gun right now, folks. You cannot put a novice coaching staff that is learning on the job and getting on the job training when you're trying to cultivate and you're trying to grow your future franchise quarterback. I don't think there's any doubt that Drake Maye is that guy. Everything that we see on the field points to poise, effectiveness, his ability. Everything that this kid has shows that he is clearly the guy. But if you're not going to surround him with the right coaching staff in order to be able to nurture that talent and then use that synergy between he and the coaching staff to bring in new players, to bring in effective players, whether it be receivers, tight ends, running backs, offensive linemen, people that want to play alongside this kid, it just doesn't send the right message. And I think that's absolutely right. And again, folks, for those of you that are viewing this on YouTube, you can see the first bullet point on today's show placard. For those of you not viewing on YouTube and listening to this, the first bullet point says can't close in closing moments. And yeah, the New England Patriots had a lot of problems doing that on the field, and you saw that in the final drive. But I don't think
and at the end of the first half.
Exactly.
That's a closing moment.
Yep.
Okay, and they could not get it done.
Right. And my question to you now, Murph, is that I don't think this should be limited to just the players on the field. I think the coaching staff is also coming under fire here for their ability to not be able to lead their team in these closing moments. You look at that final drive, and Gerard Mayo is coming under some fire here today for not calling a timeout to give this team an opportunity to reset prior to going into the final sequence, where they did have to use a couple of timeouts, burn through them, only to give Joey Sly an opportunity to kick a 68-yard field goal, folks, which would have been a league record. I mean, I know Joey had his issues earlier. I know he had his issues earlier in the day, so that's going to come under fire. Look, I know this kid can kick from a good distance. He's kicked from 63, but 68 yards in a closing moment, I think it's too much to ask of anyone. That in itself may be a questionable coaching decision, but where do you lie on the timeouts here? Because I think the Patriots might have been smart to throw one in earlier on, maybe to either disrupt Indy's rhythm or to try to give themselves an opportunity to reset.
Yeah, or you reset. Just give the defense a break. Give these guys a moment to reset. Understand their job and their responsibility, and just get their legs back underneath them. All
Mm,
right. So there's another reason for it, and for Mayo to bring up the Super Bowl against
mm,
the the Seahawks a
yep.
few years back. We won the Super Bowl that way. You didn't. You weren't there. You weren't on the field. Okay. You weren't in the coaching staff. Okay. So shut up. You should have
Yeah.
used the time out there, given your guys a chance to get their heads on straight and
Mm.
maybe make a play there. I mean, then again, who knows who's going to get toppled over from behind.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. We are going to get into that, folks, because bottom line, I mean, we can talk all about the New England Patriots' futility on the field yesterday,
Yep.
and there are a lot of areas to attack, especially on the coaching sideline as well. But they were victim to some questionable calls, especially in the closing moments of this
Yeah.
game. We will get into that in just a moment, but I think you make a great point, especially on the timeout. Yeah, you can make the Super Bowl comments, but I mean, you're talking about a team that was in the Super Bowl that can
Right.
respond without needing to call a timeout.
Right.
This team is nowhere near
No.
what that team was. You need a timeout in
No.
that situation to teach, even if it's just to say, okay, guys, this is to get a breather, take a deep breath, get
Right.
back out there, and let's not give them the opportunity to celebrate on our home field. Even if that's your only message, that can be poignant for a head coach in moments like that. So these are the little things, folks, that are adding up that are leading to frustration for the New England Patriots. You mentioned our good friend Alex Barth of 98.5 The Sports Hub, and getting a chance to talk to him a little bit post game, he brought up an interesting point, and something I constantly preach here on Locked On Patriots is Hunter Henry's ability to run routes.
Right.
And he is one of the best route runners at the tight end position I've ever covered. But he made a very good point in the closing moments, in that if you extend the routes that he ran in the last couple of plays, getting a couple of more yards here
Yep.
and there, all of a sudden you start chipping away at that. If he gets
That's it.
5 more yards on those 2 routes that he
Yep.
runs, all of a sudden that becomes a possibly makeable field goal for Joey Sly at 63. So these are the coaching decisions. These are the executions on the
Right.
field. These are the little things that the New England Patriots need to do. If they're going to hope to pull out these games, they need to find a way to find themselves on the winning side.
Right. After the Gonzalez pick, the Pats ran 3 plays.
Hmm.
3 plays. They gave the ball back to Indy with 5 minutes left in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was
And
just like,
that's
yeah, we're gonna play clock management here again.
yeah,
You can't do that. You're
absolutely
not good enough to do that.
right.
Okay, this
Not to
is
mention,
not 2018.
mm,
Okay, this is not 2011. You cannot do that.
mm,
Okay, you don't have you were run on this entire day.
mm,
Okay, this entire day. Um, I told you, to stop Jonathan Taylor. I warned you all, and you couldn't do it. And
mm.
you just couldn't do it. And you can't play football like that. This team cannot play football like that.
Yeah, no, they can't. And not to mention giving the ball back to Indy with over
Yep.
5 minutes left on the clock. That's coming off of a Christian Gonzalez interception. You
Right.
already have momentum. You need to keep that up and harness that and use it to your advantage.
And that's your
Um,
1 3 and out in the day.
Exactly. And that results in a 3 and out. That simply cannot happen. And if you want to sustain the fleeting moments of success that this team is finding, and there are some folks, when you
Yeah.
look, there are moments, there are glimmers of hope where you look at it and you say, if they can only build on what we just saw,
Right.
this team can be very effective. It's frustrating, Murph. And I guess that leads me quite nicely into my final point on this can't close in closing moments segment. I wouldn't be doing my job unless I did ask you your opinion on Christian Barmore being pulled down on the
Yeah.
two-point
Come on.
conversion. Um, Anthony Richardson sheds 2 tackles, and I absolutely agree with you on your assessment.
Yep.
He does not shed Christian Barmore
No.
unless he's brought down. That's on the officials.
That it really is. It looks like a clip from Van Halen's Right Now when the guy gets
Mhm.
pushed over from behind, or like Alex Barth had said that it was recess, fifth grade
Right.
recess, and it was such a bad call. I understand the need to swallow the whistle, at the
Mhm.
end of games. I've said it before, but I mean, this was just so, so bad. I
Yeah, it
don't know
was.
how you could miss it. He got submarined
Yeah.
from behind. He got submarined from behind,
Yeah, and
and that's
it's
what let him
clear.
in. There is no way, if that doesn't happen, that Junior gets into the end zone there. He was the third man there. He did a fantastic job. Richardson did a fantastic job shedding those first two tackles. But no, it was bad. It was so bad.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was
it
so
was.
bad. And yeah, that should have backed them up, and the Patriots should have won this game, even though that they didn't turn those keys that I'm looking for so often. And we'll get to that in slices of blame pie.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get to the slices of blame pie, folks, the New England Patriots once again having difficulty inside the 20.
Right.
This has been a problem for this team for a long time now, dating back to the end of the Bill Belichick tenure and now into the Gerard Mayo, Alex Van Pelt era. I also want to throw DeMarcus Covington in there because this team is not defending well in the red zone either.
Nope.
Red zone woes were the story of the day for the New England Patriots. Why are they having such difficulty executing in the game's most crucial area of the field? Murph and I are going to discuss that point and more when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues, a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, Locked On Patriots fans. I know you're like me, and your holiday shopping list is, let's just say, far from complete. Well, if that's the case, I've got the perfect gift for the passionate sports fan in your life. Perhaps you've heard of Ice Shaker. Looks so nice in Patriot Blue, doesn't it, folks? Well, the great news is Ice Shaker is now officially licensed with the NFL, NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, and NCAA. And trust me, it will make the ideal gift. Ice Shaker is created and used by the Gronkowski brothers. That's right, Patriots fans. Gronk approved, Gronk created. And Ice Shakers has sold over 1 million bottles. They've really changed the game with workout bottles, and this is the gift you've been looking for. Go to iceshaker.com and use the code LOCKEDONNFL at checkout to save 25% on your order. They're all made from kitchen-grade stainless steel that won't absorb the odor like those plastic bottles do, and it holds your ice cold, for over 30 hours. Ice Shakers even have a built-in agitator that works as a strainer, meaning it makes a very solid tailgating cup to mix drinks. So don't delay, do it today. Order your team-branded bottles at iceshaker.com and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for 25% off your order. Ice Shakers, show your support for your teams, preferably your New England Patriots, with the best branded workout bottles on the market. Ice Shakers. Today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Locked On listeners, how do you stay cozy during the winter months? Well, for some, wrapping up in a blanket with a mug of hot chocolate or watching a movie with family is the best way to spend the month of December. However, therapy is a great way to bring yourself some comfort that never goes away, even when the season changes. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist or switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedon today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. Patriots fans, thank you once again for joining us here today on Locked On Patriots. It is a melancholy Monday here for your New England Patriots, suffering a 25-24 heartbreaking loss to the Indianapolis Colts at Gillette Stadium on Sunday. Patriots dropping to 3-10 on the season, heading into their bye week, having lost 4 of their last 5. And unfortunately, Murph, things continue to unravel for the New England Patriots, and it's been problems on offense,
Yep.
problems on defense, ineffectiveness on the field, questionable coaching decisions, all mixes up to a pretty bitter cocktail for New England Patriots fans to swallow. But one of the areas that this team has been most futile is in the red zone.
Right.
And this really, I think, came to the forefront on Sunday. This was really overt. And anyone wondering about what the Patriots are doing in this area of the field, just take a look at some of these. I pulled a couple of statistics in anticipation of our conversation
Cool.
today, as I usually do. On offense yesterday, the Patriots got inside the Colts 20 on 6 of their 8 full drives. Now,
Yep.
that doesn't include the final drive of the game where there were only 12 seconds left on the clock. But of those 6 drives, they came away with points only on 4 of them. Of those
Yep.
4 scores, only 2 of them were touchdowns with 2 more field goals early on.
Yep.
It wasn't just the series at the end for these New England Patriots. It was really the total effort
Yep.
all across their red zone execution on offense that continues to hurt this team. When you look at the monster keys that you cut each and every week and you lay the blueprint for this team to be able to win, you're constantly talking about using the running game to facilitate play action, letting Drake Maye air things out, using his arm,
Yep.
using his legs to create plays, even go off script. Why are we not seeing this effectively in the red zone? Why are your monster keys not being turned here, bud?
Fear and panic.
That's a fair point.
Fear and panic. All right. This coaching staff does not know what buttons to push when they're down inside the 20, and it's really, really simple. They've become so predictable down there. It's unreal. I mean, the offense looked good yesterday for the most part. It did. They ran the ball well. They threw the ball well. Jalen Polk got 1 target. It's when they get inside the 20, they're not being innovative enough. I mean, granted, if you wanna call bringing the backup quarterback in innovative to run one play, because I know that and that worked out, but you wanted to fool everybody that you were going to go over the top, because that's what Junior does. But it's when they get down inside the 20, inside the 10, it becomes so predictable, it's unreal, and everybody knows what's coming. And if you are a decent coaching staff and have decent players, you can stop that. And they have that in spades over there in Indianapolis, on the defensive side of the ball. They've got smart, good ball players on the line of scrimmage at the linebacker. And it's just, you just telegraphed everything. Spread it out. All right. Use Drake Maye. Do you know how fast Drake Maye is? Did you see what he did with his legs yesterday? Getting to the edge and getting out and just... I've got defensive backs and linebackers going away. I had no idea he was that fast.
It's true.
Why you're not using him? I called for bootleg action, and that's where they needed to do it.
I agree with you. I think that you do need to get innovative, and you do
Yep.
need to start, giving this team an opportunity to make some plays and to do things that maybe they haven't had the chance to do in recent years. Drake
Yep.
Maye gives you so many options, whether it be speed, whether it be his ability to make plays with his legs, or his ability to take the top off the defense with a big arm. This kid has the total package. Utilize it to your advantage, folks, and you'd be surprised what happens. And again, I come back to the red zone problems, Murph, because once again, it's staring you right in the face. This team came into this matchup. Now, we haven't seen the reshuffled statistics, so I'd imagine this is probably going to get even worse. But they came into this matchup ranking 27th in the league when it came to touchdown percentage in the red zone, 46.9%. This has got to be a priority for Alex Van Pelt heading into this bye week. You've got to clean things up inside the 20.
Yep.
If you don't, this team is going to have nothing to build on in terms of being able to put serious points on the board when it comes to 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, without a doubt. And like I said, it's become too predictable. More Gibson, more better.
Absolutely.
I asked for it. I said it in my keys. Antonio Gibson needs more touches. He had another fantastic game, and it should. Right now, I'm calling for a complete. I love Ramondre. We do. He is fantastic. He looks fantastic.
He looks fantastic.
But yeah, are they getting so used to just beating him into the ground year after year that they don't understand? You went out and signed Antonio Gibson for a reason. Okay, he's a great bat. He's a big man. He's a big man. All right, who has the ability to go up in between the tackles and get to the outside and catch the ball. Why isn't he in there? All right, is it just a favoritism thing? Okay, because that happens, folks, with coaches. You like a guy, you put him in there. All right, if you're a head coach, you can't be everybody's friend.
Right.
And I said this coming into it, that that Gerard Mayo is going to realize now, when you're sitting it's a lot easier to be the assistant because you're everybody's buddy, as
Right.
opposed to being the head coach and making the hard decisions. Antonio Gibson needs to touch the ball more, and he definitely needs it more in the red zone. He needs to at least be on the field so that threat is there,
Right.
because the threat is different. I understand Ramondre can catch the ball out of the backfield, but the threat is really different with Gibson there.
Yeah. And again, folks, it all comes down to the New England Patriots knowing what their weak spots are and being able to use that,
Right.
harness that, take your weakness and turn it into a strength. And if that coaching staff, that novice coaching staff right now in New England can do that over the course of this season into the next, it's going to mean a lot of success on the field for these New England Patriots, including the success they need off the field to bring in the personnel that they're going to need to be able to make that next step. And Murph, before we take our leave of the red zone discussion, I don't want to neglect the defense either. I don't want to make this seem like, oh, the Patriots just can't execute and score points in the red zone. New England, once again, coming into this matchup on Sunday, the final as of the end of week 12 had them ranked 20th at 59.5% in red zone defense. Again, better numbers than what their offensive counterparts are putting up, but still, this is an
Not good
area
enough.
where this team has always been bend, don't break, and they haven't broken.
Right.
This year, they're breaking. And from a defensive standpoint, what are the Patriots doing differently from what you saw early on in the season? Because it looked like they were going to be a strong defensive team in the red zone once again.
Yep.
We simply haven't seen that the last couple of
No,
weeks.
I kind of put that on the safety play.
Mm,
Peppers just getting back. That whole, I thought him out there running the show as a quarterback in the defensive backfield helped a lot. And it just didn't happen on Sunday. I expect better out of them going forward with Peppers back. I expect better with Barmore back. Hopefully he won't get pulled down from behind. That was almost a horse
it
call.
really was.
But no, things do need to get better, and just a lack of leadership.
Mm,
All right, it's very young. Duggar's been
mm.
playing out of position, and now he's going to get back into position with Peppers there. I think it'll get. I think it should get better going forward.
And that's a good point, Murph. And I think it may lead us very nicely into our final segment here today on Locked On Patriots, because all of you out there are upset by the New England Patriots' loss to the Indianapolis Colts. Who deserves the biggest slice of the blame game pie? Murph and I are going to slice that one up, serve it up on a plate, and we're going to provide it to you in just a moment when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues, a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On listeners, get ready to tackle NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Let your New England fandom work for you by visiting FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win with your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Locked On listeners, we've all been there. You want tickets to the big game on the gridiron, or maybe you want to check out some early action on the hardwood or on the ice, or simply be there when your favorite music or comedy act comes to town. Well, Game Time is your best destination to help you make your memories. Game Time is the fastest and easiest method I've ever used to buy tickets. And Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all of the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I especially love their zone deals where you pick the section and Game Time picks the seats for big savings. So don't delay, do it today. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNFL. That's LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Patriots fans, thank you once again for joining us here today on Locked On Patriots as we continue to break down the Patriots' 25-24 loss to the Indianapolis Colts. Of course, Murph, the Pats heading into the bye week on this one, so a lot of time for this one to marinate. A lot of time for the Patriots to examine what they did well. And yeah, folks, there were moments that the Patriots did execute well and did do some things well on the field on Sunday. Wasn't all bad. However, in the closing moments and in the moments that really I think mattered most, the Patriots still showing that they are a very young team, a very inexperienced team, a team in need of much improvement. You cut the monster keys each and every week, bud, so you see things us mere mortals don't see. When you take under account your monster keys, you watch the product on the field, who gets that biggest slice of blame pie and why?
Joey Sly.
Mm.
You missed a chip shot.
Mm.
That's it. You know, I could go ahead and say, you know, the inability to stop the run, that was huge, especially on the last drive. You know, but that was the game. It was a 25-yard chip shot. All right, and you're sitting there looking at your holder like, what are you doing? All right, I don't care how the ball was tilted. I don't care. You saw it. You had your head down. It's a 25-yard chip shot. You're a professional kicker. Kick the field goal. You hit that, and the Patriots win. That's it, plain and simple.
Honestly, I think you're brave for putting that out there like that, but I also think you're absolutely correct because it is little things that will add up. You look at that and say, okay, well, it was a 25-yarder. Can't put it all on one play because the Patriots had several chances.
I can.
That 25-yarder being made in a key situation puts 3 extra points on the board. There you go. All of a sudden, there you are, not in a position to have to do that if everything plays out the same way. So, yeah, little things do add up, folks. And miscommunications, misfires, all of these little intangibles can add up to big problems on the field. I'm going to point to the fact that the New England Patriots once again had 7 penalties for 88 yards on Sunday. You can't sustain that if you're consistently committing penalties that are causing you major problems. I know a lot of my colleagues here on the Locked On Podcast Network have said, yeah, but Mike, you know what? We went out there and we had 10 penalties and we still won the game, or we had 9 penalties and we still won the game. Yeah, these are teams like the Baltimore Ravens. These are teams like the Denver Broncos that aren't in the same
Kansas City
position.
Chiefs.
Exactly, the Kansas City Chiefs. These are teams that aren't in the same position that the New England Patriots are. There's talent on those teams that can allow them to win on talent alone. Patriots don't even have close to that right now. They've got a lot of talent, but it needs to be cultivated. And unfortunately, when you continue to cause self-inflicted problems, this is the output you're going to get.
Yep, without a doubt. Without a doubt. No, I agree with you. I think you know, the penalties were you know, monumental, you know, especially on the offensive line again. It was really terrible. Layden Robinson, you know, he got moved over. I know that's an issue, getting moved over from the right to the left. I've said it before. But, you know, he committed 2 holding penalties and oh God, man. It was nasty. It was not a good game for Layden at all in pass pro. And so yeah, no, I agree with you. But I'm gonna lay the, you know, the monster blame right there on the foot of Joey Sly, on his leg. You should have made that kick.
Murph, before we take our leave completely of this subject, you know we love to end on a high note, and we're going to do that. We're going to end on a high note. If you are handing out that biggest piece of a la mode pie, you know, the one that everybody wants, it's the final piece, you got to give it to your favorite family member. Who's getting that one in this game for you?
Yeah, it's Antonio Gibson. Okay. 62 yards on the ground and a touchdown. You know, every time he touched the ball, it was kind of electric. You know, he put the Patriots up in the fourth quarter, and you know, running very smartly. Okay, it was really nice to see him out on that. You know, hate to pump the tires, but you know, he deserves it. He does. Gibson was great.
Yeah, he absolutely was. Of course, I don't think it's a big mystery as to who I'm going to choose here. I kind of hinted at it earlier, and we're going to come full circle, and that's Christian Gonzalez. I think
Yep.
continuously this kid shows that he is head and shoulders above the rest of
Yeah.
his teammates here. Really
Extend him now.
carrying that secondary right now. Yeah, absolutely. Right now, he currently ranks 11th in passer rating with
Yep.
71.4, 13th in completion percentage at
Jesus.
56.3%. And, you have to take under account, Murph, that he's doing all this when he's assigned to shut down a team's number one option, a team's
Yep.
number one receiver. You look at the job he did yesterday. I thought he did very well against both Pittman and against Alec Pierce. Just 2 catches on 4 targets, 14 yards, had the
This is
interception.
just his 17th game in the league,
Yeah,
folks. And he is one of the best in the business.
yeah. And something I come back to, and I said this when he was drafted, because I watched this kid as an Oregon Duck. Speaking to my friend and colleague, Spencer McLaughlin, who does the Locked On Oregon Ducks podcast here,
Yep.
and we talked about how Christian Gonzalez never takes his eyes off of the
Nope.
quarterback. He has the ability to recognize routes. It really is uncanny. And for a player that really is playing, I think, in his rookie season,
Yeah.
if you want to be honest, I mean, that really
Yep.
is. He's picking it up because he never takes his eyes off of the quarterback, and he's continuing to do it. And again, he's showing an ability to be able to know what other teams are going to try to do to help neutralize him.
Yep.
And he's throwing it back at them. He's making tackles in the field. He's,
Yep.
like you said, with Christian Ellis, forcing him to the field. Those are things that the great players do. I also want to give a slight tip of the cap and a nod to the gods to Drake Maye for doing that yesterday, because coming into this game, Murph, all we kept hearing about was that Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts, is going to call more zone. I believe he calls more zone coverage than any other
Anybody.
defensive coordinator in the league. That was his MO. He was running the defense with the Los Angeles Chargers, and I
Yep.
was on the Chargers. He knew that Gus is not a heavy blitzer.
Nope.
He only
Made the hot read and boom.
Yeah. He only blitzed Drake on 25.6% of his dropbacks yesterday, but Drake found a way to be able to neutralize it. I think teams are starting to learn here that you can't play him in zone coverage like that and expect to be able to succeed. And then he found a way to be able to neutralize the man coverage, because Gus kind of mixed in a little bit of that as well. Not maybe as much as they should have,
No.
but he did try to at least incorporate it. Drake was able to anticipate both coverages yesterday and had, for the most part, I think, had a great amount of success.
Yeah.
So,
That
bottom
pass
line,
to Hooper was fantastic.
yeah, it really was. And
He
again,
likes tight
showing
ends, doesn't he?
he
We're
does.
gonna have
He
to get him. We're
absolutely-
gonna have to get him a tight endage T-shirt. We're gonna call
Yep.
Claire and get him a tight endage T-shirt.
That's right. That's right. You can hear Drake Maye in the huddle going, "Hooper drives the boat, Chief." He's ready. He's ready. He loves to find
Yep.
him, and he wants to be able to find him. But no, it's true. I think opposing defenses right now realize that you have to account for Drake Maye on every drop
Yep.
back. Whether you're playing man-to-man, whether you're playing zone, you have to account for them, because he has the ability to make plays in either coverage. So, Murph, what can I say? Thank you so much for lending your wisdom, your counsel, those monster keys that you carry in your pocket like so many nickels and dimes. We appreciate you. Before we let you go, bud, please let everyone know where they can interact with you, reach out to you, and what you got marinating in Murph's kitchen for the week.
You can check me out on Twitter at tmurph207, Zitter, X, whatever you want to call it. You can also check me out on Blue Sky, also at tmurph207, whatever Blue Sky I don't know.
On behalf of my good friend Thomas Murphy, I'm Mike Debate, reminding all of you to stay safe, to stay well, to be the change you wish to see in the world. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow on Locked On Patriots.